Elvis Presley, Indonesian style. But instead of classic rock and roll, this version prefers Islam-infused beats. The popular local music called dangdut is here to drum up support for candidates in the upcoming election.
When there's music, we come alive. And there are also Islamic clerics preaching.
She's a supporter of Prabowo Subianto, the former son-in-law of Indonesia's then-dictator Suharto. Setting a nationalist and populist tone, the retired military general banks on the support of conservative voters. His rival, Joko Widodo, is seen as more of a moderate. The incumbent is seeking a second term as president to carry on with the reforms he promised 5 years ago. With heavy metal music, he wishes to capture the hearts of young voters, which he says is crucial to win the poll. A third of Indonesia's 190 million voters are millennials. Among them, 5 million will be first-time voters like Angelica. She hopes to choose a government that cares about the welfare of the people.
As a first-time voter, I feel happy and proud that now my voice can help determine the future of this country. It's my duty as a good citizen.
Other voters care about the religious tolerance that was once taken for granted in the majority Muslim country. Buddhist leader Andi Suwanto hopes religion can be kept out of Indonesian politics despite the rise of hardline political Islam in recent years.
Do not use religion as a political tool. We should be actively involved in ensuring harmony among followers of different religions.
But no matter how diverse the country is, there's something many Indonesians share: their desire for a better future and their love for music.
Let's get more from Rizky Nugraha from our Indonesian service. He's in Jakarta to cover the elections. Rizky, good to see you. Now, it's a complicated enough election as it is, but what are the key issues here?
Well, there are 3 key issues to watch in this election in Indonesia, namely our own democratic future because of the divisive campaign strategy, human rights violation, and also economy, with the latest being the most important ones for the voters. China has become a contentious issue for this because for many Indonesians, Chinese involvement in their own economy is hugely unpopular. But unluckily for both candidates, whoever wins this election will be dependent on Chinese investment to boost economic growth, because Indonesia is not an easy country to invest, especially for many Westerners, because of the infrastructure and also the massive corruption problems. And so far, China is the only big investors who are willing to manage those risks.
In terms of managing these risks, it appears the current President Joko Widodo has been balancing it well somewhat, because infrastructure appears to have been one of the things that he has been preaching to his voters. Is that something that is going to stand him in good stead?
Well, President Joko Widodo tried to put infrastructure policy, or his infrastructure policy, on the center of his agenda as the big achievement of his government. But the human rights activists said this policy has also created many human rights violations, especially on land acquisitions. There are simply too many problems for them to call the infrastructure policy to be a big achievement. And we still see many environmental activists being arrested. For example, when they try to advocate indigenous rights or indigenous people against big mining companies, for example. And they said it won't change in the next 5 years, whoever wins the election.
Now, Rizky, Indonesia is also the world's largest Muslim majority country, besides being the 3rd most populous democracy. How important is the Islamist tone that political rhetoric has increasingly taken in Indonesia in these elections?
Well, it also it's created a hostile environment, especially for minorities. Especially for LGBTI people, when I talk to them, they say, whoever wins the election, we are the big losers, because both candidates will not risk their own political future for them. And in fact, Amnesty International said since 2016, Indonesia has experienced more persistent acts of intimidation and marginalization against the LGBTI people, such as public shaming, for example.
Right, and we'll have to leave it there for the time being. Rizky Nugraha from our Indonesian service speaking to us from Jakarta. Thank you very much.
Thank you.